pimple? I asked my husband as I exited the shower. I lifted my right cheek for optimal viewing. Mark bent to check. Ugh, he said, I can see into your asshole. And yes, it's a pimple. We were in Florence, Italy, on our honeymoon. The start of the trip was as magical as expected. Strolls through the cobbled streets of Rome, hikes along the cliffs of the Cinque Terre, all the cheese, pasta, and gelato we could eat, and other, honeymoon stuff. But within days of spotting the pimple, located in the crease where thigh meets tush, my leg and butt had melded into a hard pink mass about the size of a ciabatta roll. Also like a ciabatta roll, it was warm to the touch. It's an abscess, Mark said. He's a doctor, and an abscess, he told me, is a tissue infection, a mess of pus and bacteria teeming painfully below the skin. It began the size of a pimple, and over the course of our honeymoon, it grew. Like our love. I blamed the summer heat, the clammy plastic seats on the hop-on, hop-off bus tour, and my short shorts. Whatever the cause, my husband/primary care physician said the treatment was to drain it. Mark told me to massage it, to press down around it, to take hot showers to soften the mass and bring the infection to the skin surface so it would open on its own. I did. It hurt. When neither the massages nor the showers made the abscess burst, Mark decided it was time to drain the sucker ourselves. Throughout the trip, he'd been using this huge safety pin to close his pocket against muggers. I watched from the bed, on my back, legs hugged to my chest, as he sterilized it with hotel matches. We were clearly on the cusp of an epic explosion. But from that position, I couldn't see anything. So I made Mark set up his iPad to take a video. Which became a series of videos, because the thing just would not pop. In these recordings, which have since been erased, I am shrieking and writhing while my husband pricks and pushes against the abscess as he repeats, "I'm sorry, babe, I'm sorry, babe, I'm sorry, babe." All that's visible on the screen is my thigh and his hands and the bloody, pussy mess of the lump that gurgled and dribbled, but would not drain. "I think it's gonna happen this time," Mark said between each take. "When it's all out, you'll feel so much better." Many tears were shed that afternoon, MTV Italia blaring in the background. With my legs over my head and Mark crouching over me, it may have looked like we were doing honeymoon stuff, but it sounded like someone was being dismembered. This went on for about 5 hours, during which we missed an excursion into Tuscany. Eventually, we gave up. Everyone drained, but the abscess. Mark apologized for hurting me and I apologized for bellowing obscenities and spoiling a day of his honeymoon, which he says I didn't. I did. After that, we decided to let things be for a while, and off we went to Venice. All three of us. By then, I'd developed a limp. Without that crease between thigh and tush, the leg just doesn't bend right. But walking had become preferable to sitting in that I couldn't anymore, at least on my right side. At the start of our honeymoon, we'd chosen restaurants for the food. By the end, the determining factor was whether the chairs had arms. If they did, the place was out. I needed to be able to hang my butt over the side. It was all very romantic. After one too many meals, watching me eat pasta, off-center, with my leg and cheek dangling over the edge of my chair, Mark thought we might try draining one more time. Or maybe it was because the abscess had started to soak through the gauze taped under my shorts. By that point, it was bubbling like Vesuvius. So he assembled the necessary supplies, safety pin, matches, iPad, and I assumed the position. The Venetian procedure was essentially the same as the Florentine. Aside from the accordion music wafting through the window from the gondolas. From the gondolas we never got to ride. This second unsuccessful surgery ended in surrender on damp sheets. Me on my stomach, Mark curled up beside me, arm over my back. It was clear by then that nothing was happening in Italy. So Mark got antibiotics and bandages from a Venetian drugstore, then emailed his brother, a dermatologist, who'd do the proper drainage procedure when we returned home. Risa has small abscess. Please bring home scalpel. Trip going great. I looked over his shoulder just as he hit send. Small abscess? Are you kidding me? I would love to see a big abscess. Mark sighed. I just don't want to alarm anybody. So this is alarming? I said. Am I gonna lose my leg? Am I gonna die? The night before our flight home, we enjoyed a waterfront dinner, and for dessert, I had gelato and a meltdown. It hurt so much. I haven't sat on it in days. I'm gonna get blood and pus all over the plane. Mark consoled as best he could. He told me everything would be fine, hugging me cautiously so as not to shift my balance onto my bad cheek. And it was fine, thanks to his encouragement. And also to the giant maxi pad stuck to the inside of my jeans. So that's how I remember the trip. But whenever I tell the story, Mark jumps in. She was a trooper, he says, squeezing my hand. She had such a good attitude. No, they don't want to see your scar, we're eating. We had the best time. And he sounds sincere, seems genuinely proud. Or he might be revising history, conjuring the honeymoon memories all newlyweds hope for. Either way, that's Amore.